WIBTA for not telling my siblings about their true paternity and taking everything in my dad's will? I, 38, have been NC with my dad and 2 younger siblings for many years. My dad always treated me like crap because he was convinced that my mom cheated on him. Because she did, a lot. And trapped him into a shitty marriage, and that I was not biologically his. For my 13th birthday my dad bought me a paternity test, and even though the test results came back that I am indeed his, he accused me, or my mother, of sleeping with the test guy. Lol. I have also done a ancestry DNA test and also matched with all his relatives. So I'm pretty sure that unfortunately he is my bio dad. I have known for a long time that my younger sister was not my dad's. When I did my ancestry DNA test, my sister wanted to get one too. My mom freaked out, admitted her indiscretion, and begged me to convince my sister that it was a waste of money and that she could just have a copy of my results. I did, because I thought I was protecting her and she was going through a rough time at the time. I recently got a notification about an ancestry DNA match. I looked it up and it looks like my brother's ex-wife got one of the kits for both of my brother's kids. And lo and behold, my brother's kids only seem to share relatives from my mom's side. FYI, my profile uses a screen name so she would not have recognized who I was. My brother and sister have been really shitty to me for years. Comments about how I owed their dad for him putting a roof over my head as a child. And how dare I accept items from their grandmother's estate etc. I put up with it for years because they are younger and honestly not that bright. I thought that they'd come around eventually. My dad made sure in a drunken fight with my mother to give me a copy of his will. Still have it, so that I knew that he had put a stipulation in there about his estate being divided amongst his biological children. I know that he has not changed his will since because his mental capacity has changed. TMI. WIBTA if I did not tell my siblings. And just let this play out at the will reading? Take everything and kick them out of the family home? I would also be setting up funds for my nephew since my loser brother doesn't pay child support. My husband thinks that this is stooping to their level, as they both rely on his estate currently for survival. So this will ruin them. They have no education or way to support themselves currently. But I kinda want to stoop. NTA considering how they treated you. If this was only about your father, and they hadn't treated you any differently, then you would be taught. They both rely on his estate currently for survival. So this will ruin them. They have no education or way to support themselves currently. How is this your fault? What would they do if the roles were reversed? Check with a lawyer. Due to the stipulation in the will, you will need to demand a DNA test. Would recommend you not stir the pot now. All it will do is put your siblings on the defensive, and they will probably start some expensive shenanigans. Wait to let the drama unfold at the will reading. Make sure the will is kept somewhere safe. If they know they will not inherit, they will try to destroy that will. Whichever way you go with this, you should take steps to protect the property. If you kick them out with the clothes on their backs, then there's a good chance they'll trash the place and steal stuff before they go. If you do tell them ahead of time, they might trash the place and steal stuff anyway. If you don't follow the will, YWBTA for not following his wishes. He knew what he was doing by specifically adding biological NTA, but I think you will be unpleasantly surprised if you expect to wave around an ancestry test at a will reading and magically the estate goes to you. If there's real money involved, including value of the house, I think you consult a lawyer now, while he's still alive. I'm sorry you have a shitty dad and siblings. Stoop. 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 Seriously though. NTA. Your half sibs sound like entitled pieces of work. ETA. Also, you didn't write the will. So. NTA. I feel like what's done is done. The father can no longer change his will. Nobody talks to the op so she isn't committing a lie by omission every time they sit down to Sunday dinner. Info. Did I miss a part where your mom is already gone? Because otherwise, she knows exactly what's going to happen and she isn't saying anything either. Be prepared for a fight. Your siblings can sue the estate if they choose to do. NTA. Turnabout's fair play. Stoop to your heart's content. NTA. You didn't write the will. You didn't cheat and you didn't make them into shitty freeloaders. It's good you're setting your brother's kid up. But enjoy the drama that plays out at the will reading. NTA. It's not your will. It's your dad's will. Your siblings treat you like crap. If you were close with them, it might ruin your relationship if you didn't warn them. But they ruined that relationship themselves. Not only that, if the siblings want to put such an emphasis on being illegitimate and telling you not to accept gifts because of it, then they should have no problem getting nothing from your father. But I have a big caveat for the practical implications of this. Your siblings don't know they're illegitimate, right? You will not get all of your father's estate at this point unless you do something. Contact a lawyer. Children are generally presumed to be legitimate. The executor won't require DNA tests before dividing the assets. And even if you contact the executor, they may not do anything. If it is not out there that your siblings are not your father's legitimate kids, they will likely be treated as his biological children and get part of his estate. You would then have to go to court to contest the will and show evidence that the siblings are not your dad's bio kids. That takes time and money, and the court could just decide to ignore that stipulation since they were treated by your father as bio kids. If you are the executor of the will, this will not be a problem. If not, you may want them to know about their illegitimate status now with proof so that it goes smoothly later. You wouldn't have to tell them about your dad's will for this. And I wouldn't. Just that they aren't his kids. NTA. This not about stooping to their level, it's only following your father's wishes. It's not your fault and you should not have to share regardless. Let it play out. I think this is way above Reddit's pay grade and you should consult a lawyer. There's not gonna be a magical aha moment at a dramatic will reading like in a movie. You're going to have to prove they aren't his biological children. I wouldn't imagine an ancestry thing would be legal proof. I'd assume we're talking DNA tests. That's if there's no argument to be made that as your father believed them to be his biological children. His intent was that they share in the inheritance. Info. I know you aren't the OB, but I am just curious how they will check about your dad being biologically related when they do the test? I mean, won't they need a sample to test it against? But if your dad has passed away, how will that happen? Will they exhume the body? Also, if your dad gets cremated, then they won't have anything to test against. Is your dad leaving like a DNA sample somewhere? Info. Will you have admissible proof of their parentage at the time of the will reading? Will your mom cremate your dad? It's not going to be easy to march them out after the will reading without proof. NTA. Stoop. Also, did your father pass away or is he gonna soon? He has every right to write his will the way he wants. Ip. NTA. I don't think anyone is an asshole for following someone's legal will. Is it fair? Maybe not, but it is your father's decision to do exactly what he wants with his will. He doesn't name each child in the will? That's odd. You would want to check with an estate lawyer. It's quite possible that your DNA surprise wouldn't hold water. If his intention is for the inheritance to be split between the 3 children he believes to be his biological children, especially if they are named, then it might be ruled in their favor. ETA. You don't know that the will he sent you was his real one. You don't know that he didn't change it immediately after at that time either. You might be the one to get the big surprise upon his death. NTA. They would do the same to you.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.